Now, with this traditional yet slightly modern wedding comes questions of what's next for the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge.
And we were wondering what it must have been like to be in or near the epicenter that was, shall we say, the royal wedding.
We are joined now by Chris Caine. He witnessed Prince William's mother and father marry almost 30 years ago. Good morning. Thanks a lot for joining us today.
Good morning.
Welcome. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I live in Fresno. I'm a criminal defense attorney here. I've been here since 1992. My family moved over from London in 1992, where I practiced as what is called a solicitor, the equivalent of an attorney here.
Wonderful.
How you lived in London up until 1992 then?
Yes, I lived there from 1976. I was actually born in Africa, in Zimbabwe, as it's now called. And we moved in 1976.
Because of political unrest there.
Correct, yes. It was a very tough time at that, well, it still is now, of course.
Were you an attorney when you were in London as well? Or a solicitor, as you call them?
Yes, I became a solicitor there and practiced with a firm of what are called ecclesiastical attorneys who are based, they still are based, in Westminster, right adjacent to Westminster Abbey. So we had the privilege of being right in the center of that church, and we could see all the ceremonies that are going on. Lord Mountbatten's funeral, obviously the royal wedding with Princess Di and Charles.
But you weren't just one who looked out the window. I mean, you had business sometimes with members of the royal family.
Yes, my firm represented the Church of England, the Archbishop, and were responsible, for example, for issuing marriage licenses, because any royal wedding there has to be a special marriage license. And the attorneys, solicitors, would prepare those documents and have them signed, and we got to see a number of people in that way.
Well, did you notice any similarities or differences between the wedding you personally were able to see as opposed to the one this morning?
Yes, from what I've seen, the wedding today has been much less formal than when Prince Charles and Di married. At that point, I guess the firm, as the royal family is known, they were much more into protocol and formality and that sort of thing. And of course, as we all know, once after the tragic death of Diana, the Queen really had to reinvent the firm to become much more public friendly, so to speak. And I saw that. Very interesting, just seeing that clip there of the Aston Martin that Prince Charles, that William was driving. That is a real departure, just driving in an open car.
And him driving as opposed to having someone driving them.
Correct, yes. Yeah. That's a major change, and I think it'll signal where they're going. They're going to be much more people-friendly, more identified with the general public. And I think that's essential if the royal family are going to survive.
A lot of people here in the U.S. are saying, why is this such a big deal? People get married all the time. They're not necessarily royals.
It's a big deal. It's a feel-good thing. I mean, let's face it, the Brits are great on putting on ceremonies and the tradition and everything that goes with that. And it makes people feel good. And Britain needs to feel good. They're in dire economic problems at the moment.
But under all of that beautiful gloss and frosting is something that's very gritty and real. And it seems like such a dichotomy, because you have all of this and then you have the tabloids who will follow them and follow anybody and say the nastiest of things, even if it's not true.
Yes, and I noticed Elton John said that the other day, that the British media, the paparazzi, are probably the worst and most negative in the world. They will hound this couple with every move they make. They will be looking for some sensational breakthrough, and quite often it's not even true. So I really, although it's a great day for them, it's a joyous time for them, I actually feel sorry for them. I don't think they're going to have any privacy whatsoever.
Do you think they'll have to become more protective of their privacy, even though they want to reach out to everyone
Do you think they're going to have to pull back a little bit for their own sake and sanity?
Well, they have to strike this balance between being visible and identifying themselves with the general public, and at the same time trying to protect their privacy. But the laws in England are quite different from here. The media have much more access to them. They can publish all kinds of bad things. And you know, that's one of the tragedies of Princess Di. She was hounded literally to her death by the paparazzi.
I gotta ask you this, because maybe you'll be able to answer this, because so many people are wondering, okay, Prince William, he's a prince. Kate Middleton marries him. Why isn't she a princess?
Well, she will be a princess, but she's not directly, William is not directly, he's second in line to the throne. The Queen has bestowed she's now a duchess, the Duchess of Cambridge. So that makes her part of the royal family, but not a princess at this point.
The next step would be princess.
Correct.
In the line. Okay.
Yes.
Should the Queen die and then Prince Charles becomes king? Or
He
what
becomes
about
king.
What about the Queen's husband?
No. No.
What's his deal?
He's just the Queen's husband.
He's along for the ride.
He's along for the ride.
Does she give him a title too?
Yeah, he's the Duke of Edinburgh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so let's say, okay,
I almost feel like I need a dry erase board.
I know. Okay, and let's say Prince, or right now Duke of Cambridge, passes away when he is king. Okay. Does she become queen?
You mean
Kate?
No, Kate will
can
not
never be
become queen. She's not in line.
In line, okay.
It goes through lineage. So in other words, you have Charles, who's next in line, and if he does become king, when he dies, then William will become the king. And then it'll fall on any children that they may have.
And what
So
about the brother?
they only come in if many people die off.
Oh, okay.
But-
So she'll always be, when he becomes king, she'll always be Princess of Wales, which is the title that her mother-in-law had.
No, that's a separate title.
Oh, my
so,
word.
So it won't change.
So if they don't have children, hypothetically speaking here, again, I feel like I need a dry erase board just to chart it all out. Okay, if Kate and William do not have any children, and William, for whatever reason, passes away, would Harry then become?
That's possible.
Okay, because I'm
He's in
thinking, I
line.
saw the King's Speech, and so I'm starting to understand it a little bit, and I'm like, okay, this is who that person was, and so just as one of the brothers decided to step down from the throne, the other brother came in, so it goes.
That's correct.
They'll find somebody, let's put it this way.
They'll find somebody.
They'll find somebody, no matter what happens.
I'm sure.
Oh, wonderful.
Sure.
All right, this final, we've got a couple more seconds left. This big day, what is the one thing that you take away from this the most?
Just the tradition that people love about Britain. I find it fascinating. I think people make or get as excited over here as they do in England on an occasion like that. It just gives you, I guess, a feeling of stability, that things are all right even if they're not, and it's something that they identify with. And nowadays, the great thing is the general public, going down to the lowest working class right up to royalty, just all love the royal family, and that's a great transformation for them, as there have been quite a few moves to have the monarchy abolished.
So the royal family knows they have a little job security for a while.
They do that.
Oh, good.
Chris Caine, thank you very much for joining
you.
us
Thank
today.
you
My
very
I
much.
appreciate your
pleasure.
insight.
Thank you.